Okay, this is 9:15, 9:17. This is ICS129 and ITS129. Um, and there is a hybrid section and a asynchronous online section, and they're all of these are together in one course. And we have the face-to-face folks here, audio here, and this is being recorded. This is being recorded and being put online, and for reference uh, for the folks in the class to reference later, and for you folks out there and taking this course asynchronously, um, you're you're pretty much responsible for what is in these videos. But anything important will be repeated more than once, and probably be repeated at the beginning and at the end, and in an email and so on. But um, the videos are going to basically in these videos, I do things in class that are assignments you're being assessed. So I'm not going to go through any of the participation activities because those are really easy for you. But I am going to help you with some of the challenges and some of the lab activities, and these assessments will all become clear in this video. All right, so I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. I hope this is all working out right. Still recording. So yeah. Okay, so let's go over well, first of all, you log into Lamaku, and you should see your course somewhere. And this one is this course, and this is both ICS. Okay, so the syllabus. Okay, I'm going to put more on this, but the syllabus is click on content and click on course overview. Okay, so it's all here. Since Lamaku is new and Banner is new, and they're going through this transition stuff, I don't think this class I'm not going to rely on Lamaku at all. So it'll be redundant. I'll email you stuff. I emailed everybody the syllabus, I believe, and if you didn't get it, you can always download it, or you can email it again. And there aren't going to be any. Okay, so but what you may want to log into Lamaku for is to look at your grades. So if I view this as a student, this is supposedly how you see yours. You should be able to click on grades, and you will see your grades. And I guess I haven't populated this yet, so I still do that. So anyway, there'll be a list of all the things that you're assessed. And basically what they are is, let's go back to the content syllabus course overview. This is the textbook, and I'm going to dive right into that in a moment. You cost $89, and you get it for the full semester. You can download it. I recommend downloading it. They recommend downloading it. They actually let you have access for another couple weeks after the course is over, so you can download it. But all your assessments are in the textbook, so that's why you need to have the textbook during the class period, because I'm going to download those assessments from my version of the textbook and load them up into Lamaku, and it'll be under grades. Now, for a lot of you, this may be the first class that you're taking in this program. ICS129 and ITS129 are you take it the first semester that you're in this program, and so presumably you don't know any programming or anything like that. I'm sure a lot of you do, because I learned programming in 10th grade. But we're going to assume that you haven't done any programming, and so at the end here, we're actually going to start learning the PHP programming language, and we're going to see how that interfaces with the database. The main thing that you're going to learn in this class is databases, and so there are these participation activities, and there are challenge activities, and there are lab activities, and those are all in the textbook. You see what all those are. This is the grade breakdown, and this will make more sense after you take a look at the text. So let's take a look at the textbook. Let's see. I'm going to have a link here directly to the textbook. Right now, I guess you have to go to. You can go to this URL. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to go up here and open it. Paste it. That's the URL of the textbook. And the first time you go in there, you're going to have to you'll have to create a login, and you create one login for this for Zybooks, is the name of this company is Zybooks. You create a login for Zybooks, and then from then on, all the tech, a lot of the courses in this program use Zybooks. So you'll use the same login for that. Let's see. Okay. And first time you log in, it'll show that you haven't paid, or it'll put up something that asks you to pay. Let me just do this to show you. So if I log in, I have a second account here, which I haven't set up yet. This class LD. But make sure you okay. This copy this here. So the first time you go in here, it's gonna look like this, and it's gonna say, this is what it looks like. You get access to the first chapter. You go through the first chapter, but any work you do in the first chapter won't count after you get the regular one. So just you can go through the first, it's easy stuff, and it wouldn't hurt you to go through it twice anyway. But anyway, so you sign up, you pay with your credit card, and make sure you use your Hawaii.edu address, so then what happens if should you end up with an incomplete, then they will extend your subscription for free to the end of the period that you can complete it incomplete. So it's not that big a deal. Anyways, so these are the chapters, and we're going to go through all these chapters. Let's go over to version. Okay, so if we start with the first one, over here you should be able to click on reporting. I don't know, you might not have all these, but you should be able to see. There should be a tab for reporting, and in here you can see there are participation activities, challenges, and labs, and I am seeing it for the whole class. So I can click down here and see all of you who have signed up. Some of you have signed up, obviously, because some of you have started doing the participation activities and some of the challenges. Good for you. By the way, with these Zybooks and for my classes, I set everything up in the beginning of the semester, and you can work at your own pace. Okay, so every year I probably get one or two students that just dive in and they just finish it all in like 2 weeks. Okay, and I had one student. I had one student at Manoa who had at Manoa they do all kinds of stuff. If you're falling behind or you're at risk or something, or if you've been getting bad grades and stuff, then they make us instructors go in and give progress reports, okay, for these students. And this one student, he was somebody that I had to report and he finished the whole course in like 4 weeks. Boom, all the way through, got all the points. You can do that. You get all the points. Okay. The way I grade is you can submit as many times as you want until you get the grade that you want. Okay. So and also my deadlines are your deadlines. I don't have any artificial deadlines between my deadlines and your deadlines. And because everything is auto graded, then really you have until when I need to turn in my grades to get credit for what you do. Okay, now I don't recommend doing that. There's these due dates here. These due dates are just recommended, but you really should try to stick to those due dates because of pacing. And also my videos are going to correspond with these due dates. And when I upload your scores into Lamaku for stuff that's not completed previously, they'll show up as like let's say it's March 1st, and so I will go back and upload all of these scores. And if you haven't started chapter 4, 5, or chapter 6 yet, then it'll show up as zeros. But once you do them, then the scores will be there, and it'll be like you never didn't do. So then if you end up if on March 15th you end up doing those, then when I upload the scores for March 15th, I'll go all the way back and upload all these from the beginning. And so and the other thing I want to tell you, since this might be the first semester here, is that most instructors are not like me. Okay, when I was going to school, I had the benefit of I really took advantage of instructors that gave me more time to do stuff. But to be honest with you, I have a tendency to give a lot of incompletes because people need more time. And for those students that really did need the more time, they're very grateful, and they come back and they do well, and they're on their way. But most students, most students who I give incompletes to don't ever come back and finish. That's okay. You're figuring that out for yourself, and it's good for you because then you know that it's something that you got to work on yourself, and it's not just because I was a jerk. Okay, so I don't want you to think I'm a jerk, and I want to give you guys as much opportunity to learn this stuff. I'm here to teach you programming and SQL. I'm not here to teach you time management. But there's a lot of other instructors around here that are, and now in the real world, there's going to be bosses like me, and there's going to be bosses like the other people, like the other instructors. One main thing is that a lot of instructors, of course, give assignments where they have to grade them. Now, if I were giving you assignments where I had to grade you, then it would be different, because then my deadlines would be different. My deadlines would be, okay, I got to get this done by Friday because on the weekend I got a bunch of stuff I got to do, so you got to hand it Friday. And the other thing about grading, if human has to grade it, is the problem with late homework is that, let's say something is due March 1st, and then you hand them in, and around March 10th or something, you get around to grading everything, and then April 1st, somebody hands something in. Well, you've already graded everybody else's, and there's a lot of stuff where when you're grading, you go, well, okay, I guess I'll give you points for that one, and then you got to go back and give everybody the points for that one, and then you go, oh, okay, I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm not going to give points for this, and then you make sure it's consistent, and then a month later you will have forgotten all those things. So your grading is going to be different. The grading will be different a lot of times for the instructor has to manually grade, and then it's annoying too. So I take all of that. I take all of that away by spending a lot of time with auto grading, and I used to write my own programs to auto grade, but now Zybooks came along, and they have gone just in the last year. They actually at the end here, there are these Zybooks exercises where you're actually, this connects to a database, and you're using this tool called PHPMyAdmin, which everybody in the real world when you're designing websites and stuff They use PHP MyAdmin. If it's a LAMP, if it's a a Linux, LAMP stack, PHP. Anyway, um, and so they caught up, and so I take full advantage of this. Um, and and when you get into after you've taken this class, the future classes for me, like for example, after this class you can take ITS129, and that more or less kind of starts where this class uh, uh, is finished, and it's all the front end stuff, and I actually give you a server, and you use PHP MyAdmin, you use MySQL, and you develop full-blown websites there. But anyway, so let's get back to this course. Okay, so let's go through. Let's just start here with chapter 1, and you can see how this works. Okay, so this is chapter 1, 1.1, and you just got to read this and click through this. Okay, so let's click through this. This is examples of public data sets. This is public data sets, and we have a bunch of data from data.gov, and click here. Oh, and we have a bunch of data from Kaggle.com, which is a Google thing, bunch of stuff there that's collected papers there. And then we also have public data sets from NASA.gov, and there's zillions of public data sets. This is an old slide. So you learn about public data sets, and oh look, I got a check mark there, and that means I got the points. Okay, so that's all you got to do to get the points for participation activities. For here, you just you do this. Okay, provides more than 200 for research and application. Well, that's probably okay. That's correct. Collects the forms of cancer. Oh, that's this one. And owned by Google. That's Kaggle. Well, what happens if you do the wrong one? Oh, incorrect. Oh, is it this one? No. Oh, what's that? Okay, I got that one. And then open data must be this one. NASA.gov is this one. And then boom, I get all the points. Okay. So that's how you get all the points. That's how you get the points of the participation activities. Just click through here. Where would a bank customer's account be directly stored? Let's see. Bank customer use. Okay, let's guess. Maybe here. That's incorrect. Nope. Is it this one? Nope. Oh, it must be this one. Okay, there. I got the points. This one. Following manages the database. I don't know. Yeah, I got that one right. Anyway, so my point is that again, you just got to read it and click until you get the right answer and you get the points. Now, of course, you can do this when you're asleep. Of course, you can do this. Click, and you don't even read it and do anything. You just click till you get all the points. Some of these, the fill in the blank ones, you can just click twice and it tells you the answer. Anyway, so this, and the other thing I found is that I used to lecture along with this. I would pull this up and go through it, and I would lecture, and sometimes it was confusing because I've been around for many years, and my terminology, some of my terminology is different. There's been new paradigms that have come along since I've been programming back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, and so I found that it really works well if I'm not wasting your time by making you watch videos where there's some important information, that I tell you along the way. But really, it's better if you spend that time with just you in the textbook, going through reading it and understanding it, and clicking through this and understanding what's going on. Okay, so let's go to. Okay, so these are participation activities. Oh, by the way, because this one this first chapter kind of introduces you to all the stuff basically that we're going to cover just in all in one chapter, just briefly. Like query languages, you're going to learn about all the SQL statements real quick, just simple ones. And then after that, we're going to these other chapters, we go into things much more deeply. Okay, that's the idea. Yeah, the thing that you want to get out of this class is learning SQL really well. Okay, SQL has been around since the 80s, and did you know that Microsoft Access is based on a 1991 version of SQL? Okay, so it's one of those programming languages will come and go, but not databases is going to be replaced. There's more and more different kinds of databases, but when you're actually down there writing programs where the human writes the code to access the data, that's going to be SQL, and that's why Oracle is such a big company. All right, so let's do let's go through chapter or section 1.3, and we learn about all the SQL statements briefly. So there's an insert statement, and you have a database, bank database, and you have an account, and you have an insert statement which you can add stuff into the this is a table. This is a table inside of a database, and a database consists of many tables. And so here, this is an insert statement. We just executed this insert statement, inserting somebody in an Ethan card with $5,000. Next, we have the select statement. And what the select statement does is that's how you read the database. So you aren't modifying the database at all. You're just reading what's there, and you say what you want to select, fields that you want to select, the table that you want to select it from. And this is some type criteria on what you actually want to select. It narrows down what you want to select to a smaller set rather than just the whole table. And so this says select all the names from the account table where the balance is greater than $3,000. And we see there's two of them in there, Raul and Ethan, and so that's what comes up. Okay, that's a select statement. The next is there's an update statement, and that's where if you've got something in there and you want to change it. Okay, so here we're going to update in the account table. We want to set Raul Lopez's, well, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be more specific. It's not going to, anyway, set Raul Lopez's balance to 4,500. So now it changed that to 4,500. Okay, that's the third thing, and the fourth one is a delete, and that's where you just say what you want to delete, and then it goes away. And oh look, I'm on the fifth one, and I got the points. All right, let's do a yeah. So this is how it really is in SQL. You're more specific. The account table, it's got to be. Here's what you're going to insert into the account table. You're going to insert an ID. An ID is just it's going to be a unique, in this case, a unique integer, where just by the ID, you reference the ID and you basically get the whole record. Okay, so it's a simple way to reference. Raul is 831 and Ethan is 290. You have an 8-digit University of Hawaii ID. So these are actually statements that will execute a work. Okay. So we see the name, the table, the update here. You actually, when you want to update, you want to reference the ID, and deleting, you reference the ID also. All right. So let's do a challenge. Okay. Here's a challenge. Okay. So these are kind of like quizzes. And when you go through previous videos, there's a bunch of I've been using this textbook for as long as it's been around. It's many years, 7 or 8 years, and I started using it with ICS129, which is the database class at NOAA, and then just last semester I started teaching this course, and so I'm using the same textbook. And I've changed it. The first 10 or 12 chapters are the same as ICS 321 over Manoa, but then ICS 321 does some other stuff, and then this class uh, does we spend more time in this class learning PHP than the other class. So let's start this out. The thing about the quizzes is if you get it wrong, then it gives you another chance to do it. But the problem is slightly different. If you get that wrong, it gives you another chance to do it, and the problem is slightly different. Now, if you get it wrong enough, you're going to start seeing the same problems again. That's okay. I have it set so you can submit as many times as you want. So what that means is you can just click through it until you get it, and then you get all the you get all it's good. And I guarantee you that if you do that, you will learn. Okay, I mean, should you know, I guess you can get an A in this class by just being persistent, and that actually says a lot. So, but I know that because you chose to take this class, that you'll absorb something. Okay, so let's start the first one. Okay, so here, insert. We're supposed to. What is the new row's independence here? Okay, so here we're inserting into a table country, and we're inserting these values and order counts. The order counts. So it's Belize is the first one. This capital city is the second one. This area is the third one, and this is the independence here. Okay, so what is the new row's independence here? Well, it looks like it's this one. That's the independence here. This is going to be a new row, and this is the independence here. So I'm going to say 1980. And I'm going to check, and I got that once. Great. See, look, I'm checking. Let's do the next one. Okay, so this is a select statement, so we're searching and seeing what comes up from the table. All the countries where the area is less than 8,700. Okay, and we're supposed to say how many. It's a number we learned. Okay, so how many are less than 8,700? Well, not that one. Not that. It's this one and this. Two of them. Two of them are less than 8,700. Okay, so I'm going to put the wrong number in just so you can see the slide. So it should be 3, but I'm going to put 2. It should be 2. I'm going to put 3. When we check it, it goes. Right. Oh, the result table. Oh, okay. I was looking for how many. In my lecture here, I was saying that you say how many were removed, but really it's how many are left. Okay, and by the way, this is an example of if I were to lecture you through these participation activities, you'd be confused half the time because I sound like I'm confused. So anyway, the result is 4. So if I would have put 2, I would have got the wrong answer. It expected as 4. The statement retrieves the names of the countries that are smaller than 8,700. It's these. So yeah. Okay, so I was thinking delete also. It's early. Okay, so this is the rate. Okay, so anyway, let's do it again. So I click next again. It gives me another chance. Result has how many capitals? Okay, so it's result. And we are gonna result. And so it's how many are less than areas less than 4,300. How many are less than 4,300? 1, 2, 2. This one's not, that one's not. Okay, so the resulting table, the one that we got out, should just have two capitals. All right. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Okay, look, this is a little different. In the table, select the row deleted from the following group. We're going to delete from country. This is going to be where the population is exactly 5,850,000. That would be, ooh, there's no, oh, okay, oh, this, okay, there we go. So select the row deleted, okay, so it looks like this one's gonna be deleted. Okay, let's check, see if that's right. All right, let's do the last one. Ah, this is fancy. In the table above, select the row and column that's changed by the following query. So we're gonna update country. The name of the country that we're gonna update is this one. So we're gonna update this one, and it's the population that's gonna change. It's gonna be this. Okay, looks like 5 people were added to the population of Saint Lucia. Let's see if that's right. Okay, good. So now I got all the points and this check mark is there, and that's the end of the quiz. All right, so what's next? Okay, database design and programming. We're going to learn about this database design entity relationship diagrams. It's a way of diagramming out big databases, and it's the kind of thing where you're probably, if you're building a system all by yourself, not with anybody else, you're likely not gonna have to create an entity relationship diagram. But if anybody else, if you're working on a project with anybody else and you're doing stuff together, or you're making something that's going to be handed off to somebody else, say you're working on something and then you're going to be done working on it with your company or whatever, somebody else has to take over your work. Then you probably want to know about entity relationship diagrams. Also, if you get a job and you have to start, oftentimes when you're a new employee, they put you on projects where it's already built, and you're in more of a maintenance role or a fixing role, or maybe you might be hired to add a small little part to the coding. And then you'd have to know how to read these things. So we're going to learn about that. We're going to learn what these terms mean. And this has to do with, so here's an example of a database structure. You have authors and you have books. Books are written by authors. And then you also, and by the way, more than one author can author a book. And then you have customers. Customers buy the books. They buy books. Okay. Now, because authors can author multiple books and books can be authored by multiple authors, you can't really have a field in this table which connects over to a field in this table. Because how many would you have? I mean, how about an author that's published 10 books versus an author that's published only 1 versus whatever? So you have this intermediate table in here, which has as many, author book pairs for all the connections. So if an author has authored 5 books, then there's going to be 5 entries in here. Same with customers can buy more than 1 book. More than 1 customer can buy the same book and so on. So you have this intermediate table. So this is a very common structure, and we're going to learn how to code all this stuff. Okay, now this is really getting down into the nitty gritty of databases. It's physical design. We're going to learn about indexes, and we're going to learn how indexes work and why they work, and basically it's to speed up searches. When you're searching for data, it speeds up the searches. But you're never going to have to manually manipulate these things. For a database designer, what you're going to do is you're going to decide, well, let's see, we search the type of genre often, whether we search for fiction books a lot or we search for history books a lot. Well, then that column should be indexed. So then you just click and create the index for the column, and then the database takes care of it after. That's the kind of stuff you're gonna learn down here in physical design. Not a lot, but it's good to learn how it works. This is this um, application programming interface. There's two APIs are APIs. The term API is used two different ways in this particular class. There is you have the programming language, like this is Python. This is Python, and there is the mechanisms that you use to access the database in Python. Okay, so this is how you would set that up. And so this is called Python application programming interface to the MySQL database. Another kind of application programming interface is where you have a website and you have a browser and you have JavaScript running in the browser, and it's making it accesses the database in the server. That it accesses the database that's in the server, and so you write little programs in the server that allow access, and those would be written in Python or PHP. We're going to use PHP because PHP is common for that kind of thing in Python. But so that those two distinctions might not be clear right now, but they will be. Okay, so let's MySQL is the database that we're going to use, and SQL is we're only going to learn about the SQL that works on all the different database servers, whether it's Oracle, whether it's Postgres, whether it's MySQL, whether we're learning the generic SQL, and the differences, for example, the differences between Microsoft's database. That's all again. But the SQL is the same. The differences are how relaxed they are with rules. Like if you have a character field that's 25 characters long, and you have another character field that's 10 characters long, are those compatible when you're doing joins? Well, in some servers they are, in some servers they're not. And so those kinds of things can be different. Also, in Oracle, there's a whole bunch of select statements that are not available in the other languages. And that's one of the things that makes Oracle powerful. You can search on something that sounds like something, and that's, the database has got to be a lot smarter. But all right, so so here we're just briefly going about that. Here's the sandbox. When you do your exercises, you're going to do them something like this, and here you can actually let's see what's here. Okay, so let's just run this. Show databases. Oh, okay. Show databases. Okay, these databases must be internal. Usually there's something over here which indicates, but anyways, okay, so this server, it's a MySQL server, it's all someplace, and you have access to it here. This is the show databases command. It just lists out all the databases, and so here in this particular environment, there's an information schema table. MySQL. So there's a Sequila database. These are databases. Okay, well anyway, and these are the tables in Sequila. Okay, so here we're gonna first we're gonna show all the databases that are available to us. And I guess these are all internal databases, and then we're gonna specify which database we're going to use. And so we're going to use the Sequila database that's used throughout this textbook. The Sequila database is a database where they took a bunch of some movie data, actors and movie titles and all these different genres, movies, and they mixed up all the names. And they mixed up all the names of the actors, mixed up all the names of movies, and you can kind of see how they mixed it up. But anyway, so that's what's used a lot in this textbook to teach us stuff, set up for exercises. So we're going to use a Sequila database, and then we're going to show the tables in the database that we're using in that Sequila. So here, the Sequila database, these are all the tables in the Sequila database. And so, you know, so we're going to take a look at these tables. Anyway, this is PHP my this is MySQL workbench. This class used to you used to have to download and install MySQL workbench on your home computer, and there's a Mac version of this version, so there's no iPad version. But anyway, we don't have to do that anymore because they've made it so we have access to it in this window. All right, I want to and I don't know why I put two of these in. There's a difference between this. Sandbox. Oh, there's no okay, there's no lab in this. I guess I took that back. All right, so there were no labs, and let's do let's go into chapter 2. So we're going to learn about relational model, and this is some history. I took my first database class in 1973. And there was all the databases back then were network databases. And relational databases were just coming around. And the reason you couldn't, you know, the math has always been around. But of course, computers are really slow and everything. They couldn't make them efficiently. But then finally around that time period, they were able to. And that kind of changed a whole bunch of things. Anyway, so this talks a little bit about history. There's tables, there's columns, there's rows in the table, and there's different data types for the cells. It's kind of like a spreadsheet, there's the terminology is it's a set theory. The math is set theory math, where a table is called a relation. Column would be a set is a row. A set is a collection of elements. Anyway, there's a a table, relation, files, column, attribute, row. These are all the same. So these are like synonyms. And they're kind of used interchangeably, you know. We talk about columns of the database, but lots of times we say field. Oh yeah, that field is this, you know, whatever. And these are the mathematical terms for it. So in programming languages, it's use these kinds of terms. Okay, so I want to do a here's another. Here it's asking you to make sure you understand the terminology. Okay, I want to do okay, so here's a lab. Okay, so this thing pops up like this. And what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to create a movie table with the following columns. So we're going to make a create statement. We're going to do a create statement. And the create statement, we're going to have an ID field. We're going to have a title field, column, a rating field, a release date, and a budget. And these are all, this says what kinds of values they are. One thing about databases is you can't, if it's defined as a positive integer with a maximum value of 65,535, then you can't put anything else in there. No, it'll just reject it. It'll reject it, and the table doesn't change. The thing about these databases is at any point in time, the relation, the fields are all there's no bad data. Not bad data in any of the fields. That's not true with the spreadsheet. You can, if something is supposed to have an integer in it and you put some characters in it, the spreadsheet might complain a little bit, but it'll let you do it. Databases don't let you do it. And great lengths, databases, they go through great lengths. Like if there's a power failure in the middle of it doing something, let's say you do an update command and an update statement that's updating a bunch of records, and then there's a power failure. Well, when it powers back up again, it's going to be in a correct state. And what it'll be, because it didn't finish, it'll go back to the way it was before it started. Okay, so that's all taken care of underneath. And that's what's so great about databases. Okay, so I'm going to make a create statement. The answer is I'm going to have to put a create statement right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to chapter, and I'm going to find where we do create statements. Let's do here. Here's a create statement. Here's a nice create statement. Here's a really good create statement. Okay, I'm going to copy this. Yeah. Create it. Take this. Refer to that. I just so that it sits over here. Okay, let's go back to and you can do it this way too. I recommend this way. So I'm looking over here. It's going to be so I'm going to copy this information right here. There was another. There's got to be another. Example. Copy and paste. This is from this year. This year. So still 10. Okay. Create table, and I'm creating a table called movie. Table movie, left parentheses. Okay, nice. ID is an integer. I guess I can tab. Integer, INT. Well, it's a positive integer with a maximum value of 65. So that's something that's going to be like short int or something, but I'm just going to leave it int, and it's going to tell me what I did wrong. So that I'm just going to leave that. Oh, and I don't put semicolons at the top. The next one is it's a title, and that is a varchar 50. Okay, I'm looking at this right here. See, it says 50 right. The next one is a rating, and that is fixed length string. That's CHAR, not variable length. Fixed length is just char, and that's going to be 4 characters. Close the parentheses, comma there, enter, and then there's release date, and that's a date. That's just date, and then there's a budget. That is a decimal. Um, up to 9999 parentheses. Let's see. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, comma 2. I think it's that 8, comma 2. I'm not sure. We'll see. It'll tell. It'll tell us. And then that's it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is okay, so okay, then it says it wants me to do show tables. That was semicolons out. Just run it. Yeah, no. So it should execute the show table. Okay, it says there's just one movie. I guess that's correct. Now I'm remembering what I think it should be small int unsigned is what there should be, small int unsigned. But I'm just gonna submit it. It'll tell me what's wrong. And I got 8 out of 10 points. That's great. Okay, the first one, fail ID, should be positive and maximum. Okay, so I didn't get this int quite right. I got the title right, the writing right, release date right. Oh, I did get the budget right. Okay, so is that all it told me? Okay, well, quite sure that what it is I think it's I think that's small. It is small. Okay. No, okay, this is what I want. Small int unsigned. I just okay, so let's see what this is. I think that's what it's. And I got all the points, 10 points. Okay, very good. So that's that one. All right, okay, so and then this one you're gonna do an alter statement. You look here, you can see what the initialization is, and oh look, there it is right there. You can see it's just look around, you can find it. And you're gonna write your code here, and what your code here is gonna do is it's gonna alter this. You're gonna change. Okay, you're gonna add a producer column, and you're gonna remove the genre column, and so you're gonna use this alter statement. And I'll just okay. So and so and also this it does. Okay, go ahead and use the internet a lot. Um, I'm not going to tell you that you can't use AI because um, what the way we're going to have to handle AI is we're going to have to make some assignments that are where you use AI. It helps you do the assignment, but it doesn't quite get you all the way. And I think some of these are that. If you do use AI, make sure you try to understand what's going on. Okay, I think AI is great to start writing code. Right, I had to write a program for a robot, or at least we had a robot and now a robot, and I started asking ChatGPT to write a code for Chat for the now robot that did a bunch of stuff. Of course, it didn't work, but it gave me the basic structure, and I could start executing it, and step by step, I was able to debug it. I think that's how AI is going to help us in the future. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Or if there's anything else I could cover? The syllabus again is right here under content, and this is the breakdown of the web activity. Okay. Oh, discussion forums. I should mention that. Okay. So we're supposed to have. We're supposed to allow for provide for regular substantive interaction in the online asynchronous. So I'm going to have a discussion forum up there. It's only going to count for 2 points, and it's going to be discussion for the class. And you can put anything up there you want, but basically it's just somehow gets just so you can have some interaction between you folks. And I'll go in there and look and I might comment and stuff, but that's what that's for. The regular substantive interaction is best if you just, when you have questions, you text me or email me. And the first time you text me, tell me who you are. And texting is great because then I can get it right away and I'll respond and all that. So but don't call. I probably won't answer. I probably get 20 spam, but I donate to a lot of political campaigns. I get about 20 calls a day, and I just and they're getting smart now. They somehow get 808 numbers, and they're calling me and they're asking me to give them money, and it's an 808 number. But anyway, so just tell me who you are the first time you text me, and I'm happy to interact that way. If we have to talk on the phone, that's fine. If you're stuck, just email me. If you get to the point where you're stuck, and then just text me and I'll just tell you what the next step is, and I'll explain why, and then you're on your way. So, all right. So does anybody have any questions? So there's not there aren't going to be any more planned face-to-face sessions. This is it. But I'm going to always be around this time. What's going to happen is that no one's going to want to come to class. I'll make videos for the class around this time. You can tune in if you want. You don't have to. They'll always be. I'm going to post them online right away. And later on in the semester, if you'd like to meet, happy to come in. That's my job. But we have found in our courses, it's really the time that you concentrate on your own in your own space for more than 15 or 20 minutes, so you can get through some code. That's really the best way to exercise your mind to learn. So, any questions? Okay, very good. Thank you. I'll close this up, and you'll be hearing from me. Oh, I'm not a reporter. No, it says report.